So, Chris, you've had 10-odd practices in the books or so. How does the team look so far as you're getting started here?
It's early. I think we've had really good practices at times. I would say a large majority of our practices have been great, but the last one always sticks with you, and it wasn't as good as what it needed to be yesterday. So probably caught me on the wrong day when you're asking about practices in total. But it's early, and we're putting things in. We're repping them, and we're trying to carve out an identity here in the preseason.
Rasheed and Malcolm both just kind of having this one shot. I mean, they came here to play big-time basketball and get to an NCAA tournament. Both of them just having this 1 year. Have they kind of set a tone or created an urgency in practice early on?
Yeah, I would say that tone has been set more by our returning players than necessarily Malcolm and Rasheed. They're guys that I think are working hard every single day. Malcolm's in a little bit of a learning stage, not necessarily a leadership stage of bringing something to practice. He's trying to learn from practice, and he's doing a really good job. He's come a long way in the 10, 11 practices that we've had. Rasheed obviously has a year under his belt, and so he should be further along. And I think he wants to win. He's going to really help us on the glass. But I think the tone's been set more with some of our returners rather than guys that are going to be new to the fans.
There's an obvious buzz about this team, Coach, considering how well you played last year, how many guys are back. Malcolm and Rasheed talked about that you've been telling him not to believe their own hype, per se, before preseason, kind of create their own name this year. Is that something you talk to the team about?
Well, I talk to them about that every year because they're either saying bad things about you or good things about you, and really none of it matters. When nobody talked about us a year ago before the year started, we didn't believe them. So why would we believe outsiders' expectations now? I mean, we have returning players, but it all gets settled on the floor, and the habits that we create every day, and that we practice with every day will bleed out on game night. But all the outside talk, all that stuff is irrelevant. It's what happens between the lines. I love the guys that we have on our team. I think they have a chance to be special, but there's a lot of work to be done between now and when we get judged.
Coach, last year JP came on really strong at the end of the season, and he even went abroad and played a little bit in August. How has he evolved in the 2 years he's been with the program?
Well, he's obviously a lot more confident, which is hard to believe, but he's more experienced. He's a guy that knows where he's supposed to be. I think he's comfortable with his teammates. He's more of a leader now than he's ever been. That's what happens when you go from freshman year to junior year and you grow as a player. I think he's shooting the ball very, very well as he's ever shot it since he's been here. He's become a much better defender. He still has a ways to go at times, but he's going to have a remarkable junior year.
As you hit the Musketeer Madness, guys have a lot of fun with the three-point shooting contest and the dunk contest. Do you know who's going to be participating? I
really don't. I leave that up to marketing. Whoever they threw in there, they threw in there. So that's sort of take a back seat to all that stuff.
What about your personal intro? It's always
I'm gonna dial it down this year. Yeah, I'm gonna dial it down. I just have a lot of other things on my mind. I'm not going to come out and try to one-up. I wouldn't know what to do in 3 or 4 years, so we're going to dial it down this year. Coach Mack's at Musketeer Madness. How's everybody doing?
As far as Miles goes, and any decision, will there be any decision made on number of games, or will this remain indefinite?
It's got some more hurdles to overcome. Obviously, there's some that are legal that are out there, and we're not necessarily going to put a timetable on it publicly and say this is when he will or won't be back. So, he's got an opportunity to come back, but he's got to clear some things up first, and then when that happens, we will let you know.
Xavier has a new state-of-the-art strength and conditioning facility that's just recently opened. How do you think that helps not only your team physically, but with recruiting?
Well, it helps. I mean, they put a lot of money into it. It's as good as you'll find, I think, in the country. It's got all the latest equipment in there. Coach Jennings is, he's excited. He's got a lot more space to work with. It's all located under one roof. Our players don't have to go to all different sides of campus to get all the resources that we have offered to them. So, whether it's film study with the coaches, whether it's study hall, meeting with an academic advisor, whether it's lifting weights, all that's under one roof, and our weight room is as good as it gets in college basketball.
Might be a tough question to answer, this, just for you personally. The more experience you get as a head coach as the years go on, do you get better? Do you change? How are you different now than maybe, say, year one?
I don't know. I do know that we have a great synergy with our staff. I've got Travis has been here all 8 years. Mike McGeese is going on his 5th year. Coach Murray's returning. Mario and Jeremy have been with me from the first day I was a head coach. So that in and of itself makes us an experienced staff. We've dealt with so many different things, and there's no guesswork when it comes to making decisions. We all know each other's personalities, and I think that helps our team. As we prepare for a season, and that's been really good for us.
You talked about your assistants. I know you can't talk about any recruits, but can you talk about what stands out about those guys as recruiters?
They're really, really hard workers. They're guys that they care about the program just as much as I do, and that's hard to find as a head coach. They're very well connected. They're diligent. They are great with the details. There's so many things that go into recruiting. It's not just finding the best players. It's making sure that, academically those kids can meet the demands of Xavier. They can qualify and thrive here at Xavier academically. There's not just rising seniors that you're recruiting. You're also trying to identify rising freshmen and sophomores. So it's an endless job. It also sustains your program. And the 3 guys I have working, they work a system and they work in concert with one another, and they bring us the best players that we can get at Xavier. And we need to do that because we're in big boy league, and it's been good to have those 3 guys on my staff and watching them recruit the student athletes that we're recruiting.